was all a dream.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Let's start dreaming.
It alters your life and you never think the same again.
Some dumb thing on the edges of nowhere.
A collection of question marks stuck together into a pit of darkness. No logic, no reason, no explanation.
We can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice between fear and love.
That's just deep, bro. That's deep.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of the Let's Start Dreaming podcast. Shout out to all the Muslims, all the Jews, all the Christians out there watching our videos. Ready for a hot little topic today. If you're a Scientologist, please turn this video off. We don't want to talk to you guys. I'm your host, Carson.
If you're Tom Cruise, yes, we do. And I'm Mikey.
Yes.
And we are back
If you're
for another episode.
If you're Tom Cruise, we will talk to you. If you're John Travolta, we might talk to you. We'll discuss that later. Hit us up on social media. I don't know.
Yes. Is he on Scientologist?
I think he used to be, but I think when his son died, he kind of converted away from it. Shit. Yeah, because
interesting.
They're not very Scientologists are pretty historically not cool about tragedy happening in your life. Like they just don't care. Because they're evil.
Get over it.
They're evil. They're just get over it and get back to giving us all your money. And that I'm totally talking out of turn here. I don't know fucking John Travolta's life. I don't know what he's into.
I thought you were best friends with him. But, Carson, you're not a man of God.
No.
So to say.
No, not at all.
And I like to claim I have my own relationship with God because I do. I truly, truly believe I have my own relationship with God. I feel it. I know it. In every aspect, I am it. Why don't you have a relationship with God, Carson? Why don't you believe in anything?
Well,
I'm concerned for your salvation, Carson.
Well,
that's actually a Nacho Libre quote.
Well, that I know you're making fun and you're kind of joking there, but that is the reason I initially moved away from religion, is because of this idea of damnation and this idea that we have to save everybody, and if somebody's not in our fucking cult, then they're gonna go to the bad place. You know, that whole idea of exclusion, just the whole nature of religion is exclusive. You know, we are right, everybody else is wrong, and we have to get everybody on the same page, or they're gonna be burning forever, or they're gonna be subjected to this horrible shit for the rest of eternity.
I hear you. That does sound very just shitty and exclusive and just, excuse me, non-inclusive. But there's got to be a reason for that. I don't know. Religion is so much more deeper than that. Christianity and Catholicism is so much more deeper than just you got to do the right thing or else you're going to hell.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But my problem with religion, and not everybody believes in everything the same way. There's so much variance in the way that people interpret the Bible or the Quran.
Yes.
But my problem with religion in modern America is probably the best way I can put it, is that it's not about whether or not you're a good person. It's about whether or not you believe in the magic man in the sky. And if you don't, if you're a good guy, if you're a good person, you do good things, but you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you're going to go to the bad place. That's what fucking pisses me off about it. And again, not everybody believes in it this exact way, but this is just how I was raised to believe in it. And it doesn't make any sense.
You went to fucking Episcopalian, scary motherfucker school. Okay, in the context of Christianity and Catholicism, yes, you need to believe in Jesus because that's what it's about. If you're a Jew, all my Jews out there, fuck Jesus. Oh my God, honestly, essentially, they didn't really give a fuck about Jesus because he was just a false prophet.
Yeah.
But even if you don't believe in God, I just feel I can't go on thinking that we are alone. I feel there is something there. There's a duality in this shit. It's man and God, man and spirit, body and mind and soul, mind and heart, mind and soul. Am I making sense? I fucking sound like I'm speaking gibberish.
I get what you're saying. I get that you're saying that it's kind of hard to stomach the fact that there's nothing bigger than ourselves, which I don't claim to know or claim to have a real opinion on even. I think it's kind of ridiculous to assume that you know anything.
That's the thing, though,
that's
is
the
that
other
you
thing
always
about.
sell it short. You always sell it short, though. You're like, well, I don't know shit.
Well, no,
Like,
because I mean I think that's the right way to look at it to a certain degree. Is that and it's the thing that kind of gets me a little bit upset about religion and like hardcore atheism both, is that it's like you guys, neither of you know shit. You guys don't have answers, but you both speak like you have answers. Like none of us know what the fuck is going on, but you guys seem real sure, and it kind of makes me upset because it's like people that are like, oh man, these idiot Republicans, oh they're so stupid. Like if they just believed what I believe, then they would, like, everything would be fine. But they're just so dumb. Or these idiot liberals, they just like they're so dumb. Like none of you have the real answers. Nobody does. If somebody
no, interesting.
like and I just think in a religious context, it's healthy to look at it like nobody knows. Nobody knows. It doesn't mean you can do whatever, like go out and do whatever you want and be a bad person. It just means there might be a God, there might not be. Like there's literally no proof either way. It's anybody's game at this point.
And it's a cool. I understand your viewpoint of looking at it at in the middle. I think it's a very different thing than politics, though. Like a very, very, very different beast creature than politics. But
Well, it certainly is a different beast than
Having-
politics, because politics
that
you
belief-
can kind of change people's beliefs slightly in certain ways. With religion, you can't. Like if somebody believes in a type of religion, then you can't sway anything about their beliefs.
yes, you can.
Well-
Yes, you can. They did it all the time. Conquistadors and shit like that.
Well, yeah,
They
no,
said
you can convert people to religion, but if somebody's like deeply rooted as a Mormon and they're not questioning their faith, they truly believe the shit, then you cannot convince them that part of their doctrine, a part of their faith is not true just out of logical reasons that it's not true. Because they're like, they have that faith. It's like it's locked, that it's not going anywhere. So all the logic, you can't out logic them, because all the logic in the world isn't going to do shit. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that having faith is a bad thing because it keeps you from logic, because what the fuck is logic? You know, that's
Yeah,
that
you can't look everything in a logical sense. That doesn't make sense. You have to use emotion and shit. And
yeah.
if you went throughout the world with just a logical point of view, you're missing out on a lot. It's just not a thing. You can't look at everything logically, though. That's the thing, is that you cannot look at everything logically in this world. There's some things that are matters of spirit, matters of just not logic, matters of emotion, matters of spirit, matters of fucking. I'm blanking after that, but like, do you get what I'm saying?
And that's my case for my beliefs, is that I don't look at it completely logically. I don't look at, like, the way I believe isn't super logical, because if I looked at it completely logically how I used to, and like when I first left the church, when I first left faith, is, well, logically speaking, God probably doesn't exist. Or just at least the interpretations that have been taught in religion, that is probably not the case. The Bible, the events that happen in the Bible aren't true, you know, logically speaking. But I mean, like Noah's Ark, that didn't happen. That's just,
Maybe it did.
but it fucking didn't. Like, just by the timeline.
Okay.
By the timeline of the Bible, going into now, there's just no way.
Regardless if it's true or not, though, that's not the point of it. It's the stories and the metaphors.
No, yeah,
And that's
exactly.
One thing that gets me is that, like, some people just have such a fucking surface view of it. And it's not that at all. Religion is so much deeper than the bearded man in the sky. Like, obviously, I don't see God as the bearded man in the sky. I haven't for fucking years. And you shouldn't too. Because the main thing about Christianity, Catholicism, any of those religions, is that God is the force behind everything. He's not fucking good or evil. Like, imagine if this room is the universe. God is literally the walls. God is the matter. God is me. God is you. But it's literally, you are still you. All these things are still it. Yet it is him too. It's a duality of a thing, divine and matter. And it's crazy.
See, this
It's
is where
crazy,
this is where we semi-agree, because I do believe in that. I do believe in the fact that there is a connecting force. I think that I am you, you are me, I am everybody. Everybody's the same. Life, we are all one life. You know, if you look at a hive of bees, they're a hive mind. They all operate under the same pretext. They all work for the same purpose, you know. And I think we do that in a more chaotic sense. All life is linked in some way, shape, or form. Where we disagree, where the religion comes into it, and this is where you lose me, is that force is in any way conscious, like that it has, that there is a life, there is another being out there that is that force, that has its own.
But how I see
of
it is that
beliefs.
there's nothing besides that being. That being is what it is. It is creation. A thing I saw earlier, it was a quote from some yoga guy. I saw it on TikTok, but it really stuck with me. It was that life is creation multiplying itself out of the pure reason of just because it exists, the excitement of existing. And that's why it multiplies itself. Like, I see that. Like, where am I going with this? Life is beautiful. What was the last thing you said?
I mean, we've been talking about a lot, but the last point I'm really trying to make is that I kind of agree with the sentiment that life is interconnected. Life is interconnected. I do believe that, but I just don't believe that that connection, whatever is making that connection, is in and of itself a being, a conscious being.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think we are individuals while we are linked in some
We
way.
are so fucking stupid, though. I mean, we're intelligent beings, but, like, what is intelligence on the scale of the universe, on the scale of the creator, the creation? Like, that's what I was saying. What's what I was trying to tie in, or I'm trying to tie in early with what I was saying earlier, is that, like, we are a hyper-evolved species of ape.
Right?
There are just so many things going on that we can't even perceive. Like, you've taken a tab of acid. Like, what the fuck happens to your brain on that? You just took a little magical chemical and it made your perception of reality like you've never had it before. That is one chemical that exists. Like, just imagine just other things that happen that you don't even know about, like you could never know about, because it's just past our field of vision and past our understanding, past our belief, past our brain capacity.
I think when it comes to acid, we also have differing views. Because while I think acid is a great catalyst for certain thoughts and certain emotions, I don't think it's anything other than a chemical. It's anything other than a chemical that causes your brain to act in a way that it doesn't normally act, which acid is not alone in that. There's plenty of chemicals that do that. Nicotine on a smaller scale does that to your brain. You know, marijuana obviously does that to your brain. There are plenty of chemicals out there that alter the way your brain functions in some way, shape, or form. Acid just happens to do it dramatically, and it does it in a way that alters your perception of time, your perception of your emotions, your feelings of yourself, your sense of self, your sense of ego. It alters those things specifically. So I think it's been made out to be some spiritual experience. I don't think hallucinogenics are spiritual experiences.
I do. They can be. I don't think they are necessarily or inherently, but I believe, well, wholeheartedly, they can give spiritual experiences and they can make you feel more connected and just good. Make you fucking feel amazing.
No, they can
And
make you.
I
Feel
have
good.
personal experience.
They can make you feel good,
But
and they can.
what
make,
I was saying
they
about
can
LSD
change
was
your
that
perspective a little bit because it makes your mind think about things it normally wouldn't.
yeah, but what I was saying is I wasn't necessarily talking about LSD is great and crazy, but I'm using it as an example of how all that can happen to your mind. And yeah, it's a chemical doing that to your mind, but serotonin is a chemical that makes us perceive reality the way we do. So if we have an LSD molecule where we receive serotonin and that happens, then what the fuck else is happening out there that we couldn't even begin to understand on a different dimension, on a different level of like I don't even know if you believe in different dimensions or higher dimensions.
I don't believe in different dimensions within our. I believe in different universes, alternate universes. I think that we are one of many, many, many universes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's an infinite amount. But what I'm saying about dimensions is that, like, I'll have to tell you about this sometime, but, like, there's just different levels. I don't even know where to start.
Look, I think that while we can experience our own dimension in augmented ways, acid to me and psychedelics and anything that makes you perceive reality differently, it is augmented reality. It is reality, but you're experiencing it differently rather than a different reality.
I wasn't saying it was a different reality. I'm saying that there's.
But it's not.
I'm not
but I don't
tying.
think it's a different dimension. I don't think you're seeing into any.
I'm
other
not tying it.
dimension.
I'm not tying it with that. I'm just saying there's definitely, from my beliefs, I'm not saying in the slightest acid or psychedelics take you to a different dimension. I'm saying that they do exist, completely unrelated to any kind of drug. In their own sense, where we. Have you ever seen the two-dimensional plane? Like the story of a two-dimensional plane creature, flat on a piece of paper, and then a 3D being comes on it. They can't perceive the 3D being. They can only perceive a circle at a time. So say a sphere drops on a piece of paper. It perceives the bottom of the circle small, and then as it goes deeper in the paper, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because it can only see two dimensions. So it sees a tiny circle at the when it gets on, and then it just expands to a bigger circle. And imagine if it picked it up, like a 3-dimensional being picked up a 2-dimensional being, like. It would go in this plane where what the fuck is going on? Like what is going on? I've never experienced this higher dimension, yet it does exist. Does that make sense to you?
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. That while there could be other dimensions coinciding with ours, we just can't perceive it because we can only perceive things one way. Another example of that is certain animals can see a bunch of different colors in the color spectrum that we can't perceive.
Oh yeah.
And I've heard all that, and I don't know. I think when it kind of circling back to the topic of religion, I think that we live in a very chaotic, complicated system of life. We have this world that's based on chaos. My whole view on the world, if I have one, because most of my views are just I really don't fucking know, and I'm not going to try to act like I have any answers because I couldn't. But my whole view is that the world is based on chaos. Everything is based on chaos. That one chaotic event happened, the Big Bang happened, and since then, everything in the world only happens because of chaos. This was explained to me. It's kind of a hard concept to explain. It took me a while to get it, but it was explained to me like this: if you have a messy room and you clean the room, it seems you perceive that as I've lessened the amount of chaos in this room, but you've actually created chaos, way more chaos than existed before, because you moved things. You got up and you moved that shirt from your floor to the hamper. You moved those sheets up your bed to make the bed. You moved all that stuff off your dresser. Everything had to have a reaction. Everything had to have energy to get it to where it is now, to where you perceive it as neat. So all that was just chaos that caused that to happen. Everything in this universe is caused by chaos. We are at a certain point that it's been going on for a very long time. So all this chaos has caused a lot of different reactions. So that's why the universe is so expansive and this world is so incredibly complicated.
I feel like it's a very chaotic way to look at things. But I mean, to me, by nature, the universe wants to be still, but energy and matter don't allow that. Okay, and so, look, with religion and me, the reason why I'm so tied with it is just because I have had a Catholic school upbringing, and obviously, like every Catholic school kid, I'm gonna say almost every Catholic school kid has a period of time where they're like, okay, is this shit even real? Like, what the fuck is this? Why are we saying these prayers every day? Like, does this mean anything? And I didn't really care about my faith that much. And like, I don't even identify as a Catholic. I just feel like I have my own relationship with God. Um, and LSD really, 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 really hammered that experience in me. Because I would learn about things in theology class, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. Junior year, senior year, more specifically, were when I actually learned the most I've ever learned. Kindergarten through 10th grade was 1% of the 99% I learned in senior year and junior year. And I could never feel like we're alone. I could never feel like, I just feel like there's a grand designer. The way I've felt on them and the things I've learned, it makes sense to me. And I've found peace in it, you know? I've found peace in making sense. I don't have to spend time worrying about or wondering, having this. I used to be a very fucking curious person as to why are we here? Like, what is this? What's this? Like, who are we? Like, I don't have to waste my energy on that anymore because I have a calm and confident understanding of myself that I'm here for a reason. We're all here for a reason, and it happened out of love, and the universe is just love. Yeah.
As much as I've poo-pooed religion on this podcast, I really don't. I really don't feel that way. I really don't have these negative views towards religion. I used to, and I think some of this kind of perceived anger is what's coming out. Is just kind of that old side of my brain. You know, it's just reactionary. Like when I hear Bible stories that just don't make sense to me, I'm just like, that's fucking stupid. It's just that reaction side of my brain. But I kind of have the same view on religion that I have on aliens, that I have on ghosts, that I have on anything that I have on fucking Bigfoot. It doesn't matter if it is literally real, because if somebody perceives it as real, it immediately becomes real.
That's so crazy.
If you think aliens are real, if you really believe in the heart of your hearts that aliens are real and nobody can fucking convince you otherwise, then aliens are real. Because you and your brain, that's all that matters, is that you and your brain think aliens are real. If you think that fucking God is real and that's how you operate in your life, is under this pretext that God is watching you or that God is looking out for you in some way, shape, or form, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says or believes, what science, like, you know, people are going to quote scientists saying. To you, God is real, and that's all that matters.
That's a crazy thing. Our brain is fucking crazy. Our brain is literally so fucking crazy. The power of just believing something has such an impact on one's life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really all that matters. If you go back to stuff I learned in rehab with the Freudian theory, is that the things that you perceive as a child, if you perceive something as negative, it doesn't matter how it actually was. It could have been an entirely positive experience from anybody else's point of view. But if you thought it was negative in that moment, then you will go through the rest of your life carrying that as a negative memory or as a negative thought, because it doesn't fucking matter how it really was, because what is real to you is real to you. And it being real to you thus makes it real.
I can see how a lot of people are just against religion. Like, in Catholic school, like I said, a lot of people just didn't fuck with it, and I can so very much see that maybe it's because, from a young age, you're just scared of this fucking big bearded guy named God who's always watching. He's gonna send you to hell for sins. Like, oh my God, like that is scary.
Well,
Like,
it's also
what?
people telling you what to think. It's also not like
Yeah.
make your own draw your own conclusions. It's these are the things you should believe. Like I don't think anybody should ever tell you in a theological sense. I don't think anybody should ever tell you what to believe. You should draw those conclusions yourself.
That's a big thing about organized religion, though, is that like it's a beautiful thing, but it's also a control thing. Is that you have all these people believing in this one thing, well, that holds a lot of power to that certain group, like the Pope. And back in the day, like, they fucking, like, the church made so much money off of just scaring people, like, oh, if you don't pay these bonds, or if you don't pay this sum of money, you're gonna go to hell, like,
Yeah.
like, of course they're gonna pay, like, dude, they had nothing better to live for back in the fucking Middle Ages, like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, the amount that religion has been used to cause pain and suffering is undeniable. Like, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without religion, for sure. America would not exist as it exists without religion. We live in the United States of America, and the only reason they even, I'm going to say, conquered this land, they fucking stole it, is because they believed they had manifest destiny, that God wanted them to have this land. They truly believed that. The reason the Crusades happened was because of this belief in God, that God wanted them to be doing these things. And looking back on them, they seem violent and horrible, but that's what in that moment God, or their perception of God, was making them do.
I feel like I just stepped into your perspective for just a minute right there, and it just sounds really fucking crazy. But like, I do act that way in the sense where I feel like everything happens for a reason, and the things that I've done in my life is because it's supposed to happen. I mean, one can interpret that as, oh, God made it happen, and I have this to me I have this beautiful relationship with God, like, just full of coincidences that aren't really coincidences, and just I feel like everything I do I'm supposed to be doing. And so if they felt like that, like, dude, I can 100% fucking understand that, but like, the way you put it just does sound crazy.
Yeah,
makes it sound really fucking crazy.
Because in the sense where you're believing in it, like you, Michael Gianelli, you go through your life thinking like, well, I'm going to do these good things, or I'm going to do these things in my life because I feel like God has a plan for me, and there's a plan to all this. There's no coincidences. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, your views, there's absolutely nothing wrong with how you believe, and I would never want to try to convince you that the way you believe is wrong in some way. But the problem with that mindset, the problem with the mindset of religion, and the reason I think people have a problem with it, why I've always had somewhat of an issue with it, is that it can blind you to reason. Like, if somebody came up to the early settlers and said, you probably shouldn't kill all these native people who haven't done fucking anything to you, and they're going to be like, well, God wants us to do it. God wants us to do it. They're not going to be like, well, let me think about this rationally, that we're just taking human life needlessly.
Rations out the window at that point, I guess.
Yeah, because they got the God mind. They're fucking high on God. They're high on Jesus. Nobody can convince them otherwise. That's where it becomes damaging. But in most cases, it's absolutely fine. It helps people, bring meaning to their life.
Maybe religion's the craziest drug out there. Fuck.
That's why it's called the opiate of the masses. Because it's,
really?
Yeah, it's like the term for religion. It's the opium of the masses. Because it's like it's the thing that
because you take it in mass.
But it's the thing that keeps us all sedated.
I don't like that word though. I mean, sedated to what? Reality? That we're all gonna die? Is that the truth?
No, to thinking differently.
Oh.
to thinking differently. You know, in a traditional sense, religion keeps you from thinking otherwise. It keeps you in this box of thought.
That's the thing, though, is that just fucking... You have to interpret it yourself. You can't follow. You can't just follow willy-nilly and expect to get something out of it by just listening. You have to participate in it. You have to find it for yourself. I really thoroughly don't... But I believe that religion doesn't mean shit until you find it for yourself. Because had I not found Catholicism for myself, had I not found this relationship with God myself, I would not give a fuck. I would not give a single fuck. Because why would I? Like, this is just stuff people told me.
Yeah.
But until I had that physical experience, which I felt, to me, in my mind, in my soul, I fully and 100% felt this infinite love, infinite fucking plane with God, one of my L.S.D. experiences. And then everything I learned in religion class just clicked, and I'm like, oh my God, like, there's a reason they're teaching all this, because it's all fucking real. I mean, that's what I thought, and that's how I feel. But, like, yeah, that's how I fucking became in my relationship with God.
It's all a big feelings party. That's at the end of the day, all I can say about this is that it's all feeling, and it's kind of irrelevant. Conversations like this, they're good conversations, but at the end of the day, they don't really hold much relevancy, because nobody can prove shit. Nobody can prove anybody right or wrong. Nobody can really say anything. You know, on most issues, like I brought up the partisan politics thing earlier, you can totally bring enough evidence to the table to turn a liberal conservative or the other way around. But if you feel a certain way about a higher power, whatever that may be, that's how you feel, and nobody's going to take that feeling away from you.
Nope.
And there is a security in that. I will say that there is a sense of security in that I that I think is pretty cool.
I like it. I like knowing what I know and possessing what I possess, and it does give me this comfort, because everything I do, I feel like it's for a reason, and everything I do is bringing me closer to what my purpose is in life. And with that being said, my dreamers, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. This is Mikey, reminding you to please like, favorite, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Turn on the notification button. Carson also has a podcast every single Tuesday at 12 p.m.
Yeah, 12 noon every
Called
Tuesday.
Shock Therapy, the Shock Therapy podcast. Don't forget to check it out here and on SoundCloud. As for anything else, I am Mikey, and I'm signing out.
Follow us on social media on Instagram at Lowkey and Wade, Wade and Lowkey, Wade and Lowkey, and we'll keep you posted. Subscribe to the channel and stuff. If you enjoyed this, if you thought we sounded smart, I disagree.
Nah, we're smart as fuck.
If you thought we sounded dumb, I think you'll like the rest of our the direction of this podcast. So stay tuned. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, 8 p.m. we're dropping them. This is Carson signing out.
Peace. Been feeling disconnected now.
I get money, no I'm reckless now.
I get high, coming off the ground. This life is a prison, someone let me out. Been feeling